Hi guys, welcome back. Recently I did a review of the iPhone SE, which is the cheapest iPhone available now. But even though it's the cheapest iPhone, its performance is still good, and that takes me to this guy, the iPhone 6s Plus. It was launched in September 2015, but still Apple supports it and it's running the latest software, which is iOS 12. And for sure, it will get the next major iOS update, or maybe it might get two major updates. So the main reason why I checked the iPhone 6s Plus right now is that the price has gone down. The pricing now is approximately $34,000 in Flipkart, which is way less than what it was selling before. To check whether it's worth buying, I use the iPhone 6s Plus as my daily driver, and I focus mainly on things that matter during daily use, which are the design, display, hardware and performance, camera, and the battery. First, let's check the design of the iPhone 6s Plus. The design of the iPhone 6s Plus now looks dated. The main body of the phone is made of aluminium and the front has an iron strengthened glass which is resistant to scratches. But since it's a really big phone, it's kind of slippery, and I will recommend a tempered glass screen protector and a case. The iPhone 6s Plus is surely a well-built phone. There isn't any flex or gap in the construction. I don't use a case for my iPhone 6s Plus, and for the color, it's the gold one, but it's held pretty well. I mean, there are no scratches or color fading here, and everything still looks pretty neat. These white antenna lines surely is odd looking, and for the camera, even though it's protruding out a bit, it's not as drastic as the new iPhones. And one good thing here is that the glass used on the camera lens is resistant to scratches. I can confirm this because I usually keep my phone on flat surface and still the camera lens doesn't have any scratches. And for the buttons, they are all metal and really tactile and still functions really well. You also get the mute slider, which is still working fine, and then you have the headphone jack, which is becoming a rare breed nowadays. And for the charging, you get the lightning port, and also there is a single firing speaker. Now, this speaker is slightly better than the one in the iPhone SE, but still for 2019, it's not a good one. You can easily cover it, and it's not sufficiently loud or clear. And moving to the front, that's where the design starts to look old. There is this chunky bezel around the display, and it makes the front look dated with the other competitions in the market now. If you get the space gray model, you'll get a black front panel which will look a bit more better. In the front, there is also the mechanical home button which is still functioning fine, and it houses the Touch ID, which is the second generation Touch ID. It's the same Touch ID used in the iPhone 8 Plus, and it's fast and reliable. Then there's the front cam, sensors, and the earpiece. The earpiece is still a good one, and if you make a lot of calls, this one works great. So for the design, even though it's not that striking and modern looking like the other phones at this price range, I'm still gonna say it's good because of its well-built construction and durability. Now let's check the display, which is very important nowadays because for most of the people, their phone is the main source for consuming media. The display on the iPhone 6s Plus is an IPS LCD display. Its resolution is 1920 by 1080 with pixel density of 401. Well, what I said here is just the spec, but what really matters is when you see the display in person, and about that I can say it's a good display. The colors are not punchy since it's a LCD panel, but the viewing angle is good, and for a person who is not that picky, this display is a good display. There is also this 3D touch feature, which is not something that you need, but there are some cool functionalities which you can use with this feature. You can use it to open the recently opened app list, or even use it to activate cursor mode in keyboard. I use these two functions with 3D touch. So overall, for the display, I'll say it's a good display with 3D touch as just an extra add-on, which is not necessary, but since it's there, it's something that you can use. Next is the hardware and performance. I'm surely not going to bore you by saying the internal specification because most of you will be familiar with the specs, but in case you still want to know it, you can read it here. But surely what I'm going to say is about the performance, and I can say straight away that the performance of the iPhone 6s Plus is still good, and I can still use it as a daily driver. Everything that you normally do, like opening apps, watching videos, navigating through menus, making calls, etc. are all smooth. Now, there are some occasional hiccups, but that won't affect your daily use. And surely, it's still performing like a phone that was launched recently. You won't have any issues playing high-end games. Now, it takes some time to load these games, but the gameplay is smooth and lag-free. So even though the specs on paper is not that compelling, the performance you get from the iPhone 6s Plus is good. And one more thing is that since the RAM is just 2 GB, the background app killing is a bit aggressive. But still, they load pretty fast, and for the hardware and performance, I can surely say the iPhone 6s Plus is still good. So that takes us to the next big thing, which is the camera. The camera is where phones that were launched long time back fails. So first, let's check the rear camera, which is a 12 megapixel shooter with f2.2 aperture. There is also a dual tone flash just next to the camera, and it even has optical image stabilization. Now for the shots that it takes, it's good if there is good lighting. The dynamic range is good. For colors, even though it's not punchy, it looks natural and it has sufficient detail. That's only if it's well lit. When you take the camera indoors in artificial lighting, or even if it's not that well lit, that's where the camera struggles. The shots becomes grainy and it loses detail, and overall when there isn't much light, I'll say the shots are average. And for the video, the iPhone 6s Plus's main camera captures good video and you won't be disappointed. And you get some extra features like slow motion video and time lapse. So now let's take the front cam, which is a 5 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture. It can record video at 1080p 30 fps, and for the shots, here also the outdoor shots in good lighting looks good, but the shots in artificial lighting or with less lighting looks grainy and it's just average at best. And for the videos from front camera, it's also the same story. So for the camera, it's a mixed bag. If the shots are captured in good lighting, the shots are gonna look good and you will like it. But if it's taken in bad lighting conditions or maybe taken indoors, it's just average. Lastly, let's check the battery. For the battery, the iPhone 6s Plus has a 2750 mAh battery, and I'm happy to say this phone has good to great battery life. I use my phone a lot and it easily lasts me a day. I usually start my day at 6 AM and use it throughout for watching videos, making calls, texting, little bit of gaming and web browsing. And with this usage, by 10 PM, my phone's battery will be approximately at 10%. Now, one thing to note is that this is not a new phone and the maximum battery capacity now is 83%. So taking that into consideration, I'll say this phone has good to great battery life. Some of the other minor stuff about the iPhone 6s Plus is that it has NFC, which can be used for Apple Pay in countries which support Apple Pay. Then the vibrating and haptic feedback is done by the Taptic engine, which is better than the normal vibrating motor. It's a minor thing, but you will notice it and it's still functioning well. So after checking all this, the main question, like always, is should you buy the iPhone 6s Plus? Well, the price tag of the 6s Plus, even though it came down, is still pretty high, and surely it's competing with top rated Android phones like the OnePlus 6T. That makes this phone a very tough option to choose. And for someone who's just looking to buy a new phone in this price range, I won't recommend the iPhone 6s Plus. But for someone who wants an iPhone that does majority of the things that the high-end iPhone do and don't want to spend more than 35k, I'll say the iPhone 6s Plus is an option. But then also, if you don't mind the screen size, you can go for the iPhone 6s, which is selling for approximately 27,000 Indian rupees right now in Flipkart. That's up for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. If so, please do hit the like button and please do subscribe. See you again in the next video. Till then, bye.